what are the best weapons for Kazuha? Now, I'm saving for him personally, and I did the research myself to find out what weapons do I think will be the best for him when he comes out, because I want to prepare for him early, because I'm really interested in how he plays. He looks like he's going to be a really fun support character based on his skills. So yeah, we're going to go through every weapon somewhat and talk about whether or not they would be okay for him or they'd be all god awful for him. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy today's video and you want to support me, feel free to sub. Only 4.6% of people's viewers are subscribed, and if you're new or return to the channel, we do get to guys, news, discussions, anything in between. And I want to do YouTube full time, so if you want to support me, help me reach my goal, you can also feel free to drop me a sub. But anyways, let's get into it. So we're going to use the archive to talk about Kazuha's best weapons for this. But first we should talk about his skills. So obviously he's got his normal attacks, which are just some slashes, and he'll do maybe 1 or 2 slashes with his charge attack. You know, fairly standard, but we got the plunge. Now, the plunge is Zhao too, kind of. We'll get onto that in a second. So, his plunge is normal, but the thing that makes him interesting is the way that his abilities work. So if he uses E, he summons a whirlwind that will pull him into the air and pull all enemies around Kazuha together. So, kind of like a mini Ventio in a way. And if you do a charge attack, because you'll be in the air at this point, if you do a charge attack and plunge down, you will basically do anemo damage as your plunge damage, and then it will pull all the enemies together and it will do a bit of damage, you know? It's a very, very interesting, you know, playstyle, and I know I'm interested in it personally. And then that's when the rest of his stuff comes together. So his burst will essentially create like a little AoE anemo damage range, and it will go off at certain intervals, and it will also absorb elements. So if it absorbs electro, for example, it will, you know, do electro damage with swirl reactions. It's quite fun. I know I think he looks really, really cool as well. So we're going to get the best weapons for him, because I personally feel like he's going to be a support, but you can always run him as a DPS if you really, really wanted to. And that's where we're going to get into weapons, because I feel like Kazuha could adopt a variety of playstyles. I think his best way will be support, and I'm going to get him for the fact that I think he's going to be a support character, and I want another support in my team. So let's get into weapons. So if you're early on in the game, because I know a lot of people are still playing Genshin, a lot of people are starting to play Genshin even to this day, and you might have pulled on a weapon banner and got well, not a weapon. You might have pulled on a banner and got Kazuha. You know, and you want to talk about weapons, right? So let's talk about the ones that will probably be decent for him. Cool Steel, probably not, because Harbinger of Dawn exists. Harbinger of Dawn is probably going to be his best 3-star weapon, based on the fact that it gives you a bit of crit damage, and crit damage with your abilities, I believe you can crit with them, so I mean it'd be okay. If not, Sky Rider Sword's also a decent option. You know, either that or Harbinger of Dawn. Philip Blade, I mean, mid-tier, and then just don't use Traveler's Handy Sword. But those are the weapons I think will be decent early game, but I'm not going to go on them for too long, because a lot of you guys are probably mid to late game Genshin players at this point. You've probably played the game for a bit, you've probably got a few weapons in your arsenal, and we'll get onto those. So let's talk about 4-star weapons. So if you want to run a support Kazuha build, Favonius Sword is a decent option for energy recharge. I think it'll be alright, you know, I think it's a good mid-tier energy recharge weapon. If he's got a really high energy cost, I recommend it. If he's got a low energy cost, like, I don't know, like Vencia's 40, maybe energy recharge might not be as important, and then you can maybe move on to other, like, weapons. But if you need energy recharge, because I don't know what his energy cost is, Favonius Sword, pretty decent. Sacrificial Sword, you could use, but I'm going to say no to this one, because the thing with his abilities, I don't know how long his cooldown is, and I don't think his cooldown is going to be that long. If it's not that long, just don't use Sacrificial Sword. It's probably not even worth it at that point. You could use Favonius Sword, and that would probably be a bit better for him. Based on the fact that you need to score crit hits anyways to get energy with the Favonius Sword, and one of his abilities is just to do a plunge attack. So if you crit with that, I think you will get energy back, so that'll be okay. Lion's Roar, no, because I think that is Hydro and Electro you need for it to like get damage bonus. Prototype Rancor, you can run this if you're running a physical Kazuha build, which I don't know if many people will do it, but hey, if you're one of those like 5 people that want to do a physical Kazuha DPS build, Prototype Rancor, you can probably get away with it. The Flu, I mean, it'll be okay if you want extra attack. Personally, I might use it, I might not, I don't know yet. Iron Sting has Elemental Mastery. Now, the interesting thing is like Kazuha is probably going to be a support. You could put Elemental Mastery on him, and I think he'd be fine, honestly. I think Iron Sting might be okay for him. I mean, the first character where Iron Sting is somewhat useful. Blackcliff Longsword, if you want a lot of crit damage and a really good base attack, then that's a good all-rounder, I believe. Black Sword, if you want to run him as a DPS, because it increases your normal and charge attack damage and gives you a bit of crit rate. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it for a support, but you could use that. Festering Desire might be a really strong option for him, because it gives you energy recharge, which, if he's got a high energy cost, that'd be great. And also it increases your elemental skill damage and its crit rate, so that can be really good for him. Ali Flash also be a really decent one, because it has one of the highest base attacks in the game, and it gives you a bit of elemental mastery. So that could be alright, but we don't know when Ali Flash is going to come back. It might come back on a weapon banner at some point soon, but we don't know. So yeah, what are the best 4-star weapons, I believe? So if we're running a support 4-star, Kazuha, Festering Desire will be pretty decent, I believe. Maybe Blackcliff if you don't have anything else, and then Favonia's sword would be pretty decent. Sacrificial sword, you know, I'm just gonna keep it mid tier for now since I don't know the energy cooldown on it, but it could be okay. Now 5-star weapons, Achille Favonia. If you're running if you're still doing that physical DPS stuff, then Achille Favonia could be okay. Summon Shaper, I mean, it's alright, it's got decent stats, but you don't really run a shield with Kazuha, so yeah, Summon Shaper's not really get its full use, but you know, if you got it and you're not using it on anyone else, I mean, you could. Primordial J Cutter, I mean, you know, that's also decent, but you know, might not be the best for him. But Scarlet Blade, I think that might be the best weapon that's a 5-star that we have right now, because we'll get onto another weapon in a second, because we don't know much about it. Now, the Scarlet Blade, it gives you energy recharge, and it has a high base attack. Now, those two things paired together, I think that's going to be really good on Kazuha, you know? And, too bad I don't have it, but I think that'll be the best in slot for the minute, you know, given every weapon we have so far in Genshin. Now, there is another weapon coming, and that's a sword in the 1.6 update, and I think it's called like Freedom something. I've forgotten what it's called. Hold on, we just do a bit of research here. Yes, the sword is called Freedom Sworn, and it's a sword that's coming. Now, we don't know anything about it because in the 1.5 special program, they specifically said it's a physical damage weapon. We don't know what stat this Freedom Sworn has. It could be energy recharge, it could be elemental mastery. We don't know what it's going to be, right? And I don't really want to look, because I don't want to leak anything, because I don't really do leaks here anymore, so yeah, Freedom Sworn, it could be okay on him, and I think it's going to be really decent on him, based on the fact that whenever a weapon comes out on a weapon banner, it's normally a weapon that will perform well with the characters that are out. So for example, Eula, Song of Broken Pines, Hu Tao, Staff of Homer, Zhongli, I mean, he didn't really, I mean, he had a pole on, but I mean, it wasn't really that good on him. But, you know, Chard has Skyward Harp, Garnia had Amos Bow. You know, my point is, whenever a weapon comes out on the weapon banner, it's normally a weapon that's extremely good with the characters on the character banner. So, I would think, honestly, that the sword will come out when Kazuha comes out, and I think it'll be a decent sword for him. We don't know how strong it's going to be right now, but I think it might be genuinely decent. But for, like, sake of saying what's the best weapon, I'm going to say Skyward Blade, and then 4-star, I'm going to say something like Festering Desire. But that's for support anyways. But let me know down below, what weapons do you think are the best for Kazuha? I'm actually genuinely interested in what you guys think. But take care, and I'll see you guys in another video really soon. Have a great day, everyone.